Hi everybody, Donna from Rare Guiding Energy here. Welcome to my garden oasis. Isn't it absolutely beautiful here in the hood in the city? So I'm coming to you today. This has probably taken me about 2 years to talk about this. So I'm going to be starting a little project on crystals. We did the 7-day challenge, kindness challenge or self-kindness challenge. So we did that, and I just finished with the chakras series. So I'm putting together a little video on crystals. And the reason this is coming about is because of this. I used to have a Amethyst Geode, Cathedral Geode, that was probably about this high, so maybe like 2.5 feet, 3 feet. Excuse the planes, I'm in the flight path. They come like every 5 minutes. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to start over. So just to give you kind of an idea of what the Amethyst Geode looked like, just bear with me. I don't know if you can see this, but probably the ones in the middle row were exactly what I had. And I bought it from my teacher, Mark Presnail. Hi, Mark, if you're watching. And the reason I had that was because I had started training in chakra clearings with crystals, and as a healer you need some kind of protection, and it also helps you with energy and so on. So that's kind of what it looked like right here. So like I mentioned, this has taken me about 2 years to talk about. As most of you know, I'm a Fort McMurray evacuee. I was living in Fort McMurray, now I'm living in Calgary. And the reason I'm living in Calgary is because my home was destroyed in the Fort McMurray wildfire. And when I went back, I think it was in June 2016, we wanted to go back and just see what the house looked like and see if there was anything we could salvage. And one of the things that I was really interested in, well, obviously were some of my things, like my godmother, there was a gravy boat from the 1920s. I had a lot of things like that and some depression glass, but I was really interested to see if some of my crystals would have survived, because they are rock. They should survive. So when we got down in the basement, everything was covered in this horrible tackifier, because they had to spray everything down to keep the whatever hazards were floating around in the air. So I was down digging, and I thought I saw something that looked like the shape of the Amethyst Geode. So I touched it with gloves, obviously, and when I turned it over, it was my geode that stood about that tall. But as soon as I turned it over, it just kind of disintegrated right before my very eyes and right in my hands. So I salvaged what I could, along with some of the other mementos that I found. I did find that gravy boat that I was looking for, but it was fused together with a zombie mug that my dear friend Amber bought for me, and I'll show that to you another time. But because these things were deemed toxic, I basically left these items in Lindsay's truck, much to his dismay. And I did see a geologist regarding the crystals, and the geologist suggested if I took a white t-shirt, some white vinegar and water, that perhaps I could clean the geode and perhaps I could bring it back to the color that it was. So I just want to basically show you what it looks like now. I've spent a little bit of time and I've cleaned it. So this is kind of what's happened now. It used to be this beautiful purple color, but now it more looks like a clear quartz crystal. I don't know if you can see some of the glimmer there. So that's probably the biggest chunk that I have left. So we'll put that there. I also have this one, and the back of this would have been the casing that the geode was in, which is rock and crystals. And I just have these small pieces. So believe it or not, these were that geode from back then. So I'll put these little pieces here. And what I found really interesting is I did find some of the casings. These used to be black. I cleaned them up with the vinegar, so they're a bit discolored now. I have a bunch of rocks here. Some more. And then, oh, the sad part is there's a bunch of little tiny pieces. My apple blossoms are mixed in with this because it's raining apple blossoms here right now. So that's basically what exists of my amethyst geode. I don't know if anybody else is interested in crystals and so on, but over the next little while I'm going to put together a series on crystals, what they are, what they can do. They're very important in healing with the chakra clearings. I use primarily rose quartz, but we can use different crystals for all the chakras, and I spoke about those over the last couple of weeks. We can use crystals that align with each of the chakras, or we can just use rose quartz, which stand for love. So I'll tell you a little bit about the amethyst and what that stands for. Amethyst is usually purple, like I showed you on my laptop, and it stands for wisdom, meditation, focus, peace, and motivation. Amethyst is a powerful healer that purifies the aura, and it also purifies your space, and that's basically why I had it, because when you're dealing with energy and you're dealing with people, sometimes by clearing it, you may have some energy in your space that you may not necessarily want. So you want to make sure that you clear the space before and after. And when you have a large cathedral amethyst, it certainly helps with that. It balances emotional highs and lows. So if you're suffering from depression and so on, it's a lovely crystal to have. And it brings about a very calming energy. Helpful for those dealing with loss and for dispelling fear and anxiety. So if you're a little bit anxious, or if you say are going for a job interview and you're a little bit fearful, or you're a little bit fearful about an outcome of a certain situation, if you have some amethyst bracelet or necklace, or just carried in your pocket, it really helps with those feelings. And it's also for trusting in the bigger picture and connecting you to all things greater than you. Knowing that you are always supported and taken care of. And also, if you're having some sleep issues, it helps with sleep and insomnia, and heightening your intuition and activating the third eye and crown chakras. So that's it on my amethyst geode. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll talk more about other crystals. If there's some crystals that you have in your home and you're not quite sure what they are, maybe post, or if you're kind of interested in, say you're interested in tiger's eye, or you're interested in moonstone, lapis lazuli, anything like that, just post below and let me know what you would be interested in me talking about. Have a great night. Enjoy this beautiful summer evening. Bye, everyone.